Our story for today begins with the appearance of a giant building. In the center of the city, the hero of our story appears, and he was tired and was sitting to rest. The name of the hero of our story is Choi Ho-seong, and he turned 27 years old this year. He was a normal college student until 3 years ago. His father was stricken with a disease called magical slumber, and the problem started from the disease appeared 19 years ago with the appearance of portals. The emergence of portals brought about some breakthroughs for humanity, the most important of which is their ability to manipulate magic. But the bots were not a blessing to humanity, but they brought with them incredible harm because of the monsters that came to our world. Magical slumber was a side effect of the appearance of the portals, but as the number of people awakened as players increased, this was resolved. Mana stones and magic items began to fall from the monsters with the appearance of pops. This gives players the ability to earn unimaginable riches. For Shui, the gates were a curse. Because the medicine needed to treat his father comes from a high-ranking monster, the price of gate accessories is very high. His mother had to work 2 jobs. His sister does not have any money to get married, and his situation is like the situation of all of them. He says, "This wouldn't be a problem if I had the skill. You destroyed mountains with 1 punch. Jump onto buildings lightly. I hope to be a player." Then he came back from work and was exhausted. He then imagines that if he were a player, his life would be easier. The wealth of players is beyond imagination. The algorithm for selecting players is still unknown. Becoming a player is like winning the lottery. Suddenly, he decides he wants to be a player, but he must become stronger. He said to himself, if a person was desperate to become a player, and that happened, then the entire humanity would be players. He stood up and took the towel to take a shower and sleep. The system appeared to tell him that he had been selected as one of the players. I heard about people dying to win awards. I can understand how they feel now. We inform you about the condition of the character named Choi Soon-young. First level, job is nothing. Alias, none. Average personal ability 10, strength 5. Endurance 4, flexibility 3, magic energy 1. He hit me on the head and was very annoyed and said, "Even if this is luck, it is terrible." After that, he was sitting on a chair, sitting sad. No, he only has 18 points, while the rest of the players have 50 points. He says, no, why do all the players have it? I have to raise 5 or 6 levels to reach the first level of the normal player. I don't have any skills compared to other players. Even with low stats, if you have special skills, you will be treated with respect by the union. Except I will not be able to join any union. Normally, when the player wakes up, he should get a class such as putties, armorers, or warriors. Most of the time they are the only groups. No. But you may get a strengthening skill. But this is not like Kim Hana. It's a booster, and there are only 10 of them in the world. It is the only one of its kind in Korea. No, there are some players who cannot raise their levels for some reasons. But this is fixed with time. But in 19 years, I have not heard of a player without a job. The regime appeared to have rare and distinctive skills. I am surprised by the work in the system. He says it's like gaming coins. He appears in front of a legendary item, trying to buy the item, but the system refuses because the system does not sell to a regular customer. The system tells him that if he wants to become a rare customer, his account must increase by 10 billion. His current account is 0. He says, "Can I get an item capable of curing my father?" He goes looking for a potion to cure his father. He gets a dose of lazida that strengthens a low-class person, increases strength by 1, does not work on people with strength of 100. He says, I have to think about this carefully. After thinking carefully, he bought the potion. He says, but should I really eat this? He takes the dose and eats it. His physical strength increases. He says, I feel strong in my body. I feel stronger after increasing his strength by 1 point. Now, we'll use the points not to become stronger. He sells used items without increasing his points. The system deducts 20% from each item he sells. He buys a low-rank potion and eats it. In the morning, he decides to go to the guild, not to register, not to become a player. You receive beautiful women. She asks what she can offer him. He tells her that he was just woken up and I want to be recorded. The beautiful woman is surprised and asks, "Are you sure of what she said?" "Sir, as you can see, there is no record of a man your age being awakened. The highest age observed is 58 years. Ha asks, "What are you talking about?" He looks at a face in the mirror and is surprised that he has become old. One of the union members comes and asks what happened. She tells him that this elderly person has woken up and came to register. He said he must be an idiot. "My lord, sir, are you okay?" The hero of the story says there is nothing free in this world. He returns home and says to himself that he still has less than a year to increase his points. He says, "Can I sell this? Is it still working?" Yes, it works well. He is offering, not selling. He says with these specifications, he is worth 50,000. Suddenly, the Baldo girl appears to be evil from her appearance and possesses huge wealth. She looks at things that have been put on display and not sold. She says, as expected, the same item is sold every day. The girl says, "Since this is competitive, sometimes we just play chicken games." This is how the store's economy is able to survive. Notification from the system that a divine element has been added. The girl decides to buy. Don't be a little buy. Reduces facial wrinkles and restores youthfulness. He says, "You were right. Those points are the preparation of my life. I can win or lose points." Another girl appears and has bought a number of things and asks how I can use these. She looks at the clock and the numbers are changing. She says this item must have vomited something. She takes the phone she bought previously and is surprised that it appeared on the phone screen. After that, she takes some pictures. We return to the hero of the story. He was on the job site and was energetic and strong. One of the workers asks, "Are you really good at this? Where have you worked before?" Shawnee tells them that he worked in various professions. After 3 days, it appears that he has several problems. From the symptoms that he sold, he received complaints from 20 buyers, telling him that if he did not replace the items, or he would be banned for 4 days. If he does not deal with them within 4 days, he will be banned for up to 3 months. He then reviews the complaints and finds all the items that have problems, including the battery, the gaming device, and the glasses. Sean decides to go to work to collect enough money to buy replacement items for the items he was about to sell before they were banned. He returns 3 days later and has bought all the items that were previously sold. He says to himself, "How long the battery will last? It is very old." He uploads all the notifications you received previously and then gets life points. He regains his activity after looking at the life points he obtained from selling items. After that, he decides that he will sell everything he can get, such as an old mobile phone and a video game console. After the points were collected, he decided that he would score as a player. In order to obtain a player card, you must complete 3 weeks of compulsory training at the Players Academy. The coach tells him that if you fail, you will repeat it again and again until you succeed. If you never succeed, you will not get a player card. The instructor tells them that waking up does not give everyone the right to fight in his cell. Sean shows off his fighting skills in front of the coach. The coach and the other players are amazed by Sean's skills. The coach informs him that he has been accepted into the academy. Some players say they are proud of themselves. Transfer some players to the affairs of pain and exaggerate the show a little. Just because you have a rare skill, you act as if you were superior to him. 3 weeks later, in the meantime, you all did well. One of the girls tells him that there is a party, Sadaka. Would you like to join us? He apologizes to her because she has work. Some players say he will not come. He is talented, yet this is really unfortunate. Let us not think about this, as we will not meet him in the future. After that, Sean goes to the academy to register as a player. He is greeted by a beautiful girl who, I think, is a secretary, and tells him that he has been successfully accepted, and you give him the card. He thanks her. He said to himself, I can now sell this book. The book was a passive skill. When you use this skill, your monthly energy consumption will be reduced by 10%. When I go fishing, I can save some money for bills. He went to rent equipment from the Two-Horned Rabbit dungeon branch. I took everything he needed and he paid it all on his card. The shop owner made it up to approve their service. How much does the store owner warn you if it is returned late? Other expenses will be added, so be careful. A little says, oh, yeah, everything needs money here. He was thinking to himself that the expenses for renting the armor and using the cell were very expensive. Then go to the dungeon, the two-horned rabbit. He finds that some players want a healer and others want a defender, but he decides to enter alone without joining his team. The situation worsened for A. While before, he entered the cell after spending 3 weeks in the academy. Status window. The name is a bit. Level 1. Main function. There is no title. There is no strength 70, fitness 70, endurance capacity 70, magic energy 30, mental strength 30, points, statistics 0, individual skills, buying and selling, activated skill, healing, normal level, passive skills, steel body normal level. What is this? I am able to join any group, but there is no need for all of this. Today is rabbit hunting with horns alone, pretending to be in possession of the book, It Can, which I purchased recently. The person in charge of the cell, are there no other members? He answers them, yes. He says to himself that he must think that I am a fool trying to clean the cell alone. There are hardly any cases where the higher ranks try to enter the dungeon alone. Hunting A. Reality is different from games. One mistake could cost you your life, or make you suffer from disability for the rest of your life. The person in charge of the cell, did this person enter alone? He must face deadly calamities to know the extent of his strength. Shui enters the cell and lights a fire because the cell was very dark. So this is the cell. There were some people suffering from fighting the horned rabbit. They say those who wake up for the first time receive training for 3 weeks. But not long ago, they were just ordinary people who went to school and went to jobs. One of the people asks his friend, "Are you okay?" He answers, "Yes, I'm fine." How he sees them fighting and says, "I underestimated it because it is a low-level dungeon." People are fighting two-horned rabbits. Sean looks at the guards and finds that they do not care about what is happening in the battle. He says, does this mean that they do not care unless the other party is about to be crushed? There is no need to watch. See you. In the depths of the dungeon of the horned rabbits, people appear and say to the director, "Well done, Omar. You have worked hard." The assistant director of the first team, the therapist, Kim Ji-soo, appears, and next to her is a boy named JC. She tells them, "But you guys have done it." Apparently they were talking about a monster. One of them said that if he appeared while we were doing our duty, we would do whatever it took to capture him alive. Someone says, "Yes, we will make sure of that." Then they turn on their stealth skills, and one of their men says, "Please no." They apologize to her and tell her we will do better. Jessie says, "My sister, we will definitely catch him in a few days." She tells her it has already been 15 days. My sister appears in front of them. "Isn't there someone there?" Kim, "I was going to listen." "Then why did he come here alone?" Kim, "This is what I want to know. This crazy person has rented equipment. This means that he is a complete beginner. What does he do with himself? Is he trying to hunt alone because he is the assassin type? There are always reckless idiots like." As expected, if you are using a skill, you need to be at least level 35 to kill him with one hit. Choi already killed the horned rabbit with one hit, and says there is no other way. I have to get used to it. I've caught a lot, but not one item. I will now tell you about monsters and how the magic power works in monsters. The possibility of the magic power in the corpse of monsters changing to monthly stones. The elements decreasing, and no element appearing in the board. Kim replies to her, "There is no one to say we can't. There is nothing to do at home anyway." The events lead to the hero of our story. At that moment, he kills a lot of rabbits. He obtains a jewel and says that this is the 5th jewel from. It's difficult even if I'm hunting with a partner. I have to progress now with this many monsters. It's not like there's an experience bar like in the games. Even then, I should be able to finish within an hour. What a good thing. Kim Ellis, a beginner at level 20, says, when a person hunts a monster with a higher level, a woman can gain a normal amount of experience points and their items. But when I hunt a monster that is less than 20 levels, They cannot gain any experience points. After fighting the horned rabbits for a while, he checks his condition and finds that it has not changed. He says, "I heard that it usually takes a day or two to reach the highest level."